Good morning, everybody. I think it's a couple minutes past 11:30. We may have a few more folks joining us, but I'd like to get started with our presentation. Um, so welcome to our guest and our presenter, Taylor Brose. We're very fortunate to have Taylor with us from the Innovation Collective to kick off our lecture series. I'm Jerry Dussault, a principal engineer at the Griffiss Institute, and I'll be your host and facilitator for this webinar. Before we start, I have just a few administrative items I'd like to go over. We're going to be recording today's presentation, and it's our intent to post this video on our YouTube channel for on demand for anybody who couldn't attend or somebody that wants to review a portion of it later. If you have any questions for our speaker this morning, please use the question and answer feature on Zoom to submit your questions. I'll be monitoring those, and we'll try to get to all of them after Taylor's prepared remarks. I'm coming to you this morning from my home office in Barneveld, New York, and that's because this week the Griffiss Institute is in the process of moving from our previous location on Dedalian Drive, which is pictured in the lower half of this graphic behind me, to a new facility on Griffiss Business and Technology Park. It's the Innovari Advancement Center, the IAC, and it's located on Hanger Road at Griffiss. And I'd like to give you just a picture of the new building. So this is the facility, which is 3 stories, a completely remodeled, what used to be the Griffiss Air Force Base Ops Center. And it's sandwiched between 2 very large hangars that are also in the process of being remodeled to be a part of the UAS Test Center. So we've got a lot more space there. We're very excited about our new home, and hopefully we'll be settled in within the next few days. And the next time we do one of these, I'll be broadcasting from that location. I also want to mention the IAC is more than just a facility. The mission of the Innovari Advancement Center is to build a magnetic ecosystem in which the world's leading scientific and entrepreneurial talent tackle the country's greatest challenges to national security and economic competitiveness. I encourage you to look up the IAC and the activities, and I'll have a couple of links at the end of the presentation so you can quickly find the Innovari Center and follow them on social media if you'd like to. So without further ado, let me stop this sharing, and I would like to introduce our speaker this morning, Taylor Brose, an engaging and enthusiastic team builder who currently serves as the Innovation Collective Utica Community Manager. He grew up in New York State, graduated from Hobart in Geneva, New York, and obtained his MS degree in education from George Mason University. After spending 10 years in the classroom, he managed residential and clinical services at Pathfinder Village, which is an adult residential care facility for individuals with Down syndrome. And prior to joining the Innovation Collective, he served as a regional administrator for the U.S. Census Bureau. So please give a warm welcome to Taylor, and we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be on screen with you all today, and it's a pleasure to get to know you, Jerry, and to get to know some other folks with the Griffiss Institute and some of our partnerships with the Innovation Collective and some of the work that you're doing. So once again, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Again, my name is Taylor Brose, and I am the Utica Community Manager for Innovation Collective. We are a company based out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where we have created a large co-working and entrepreneurial space. And we aim to sort of achieve that same dynamic and movement in multiple cities across the country. So we have sort of forged ahead with some work in Utica. We've been in the Utica Mohawk Valley region for about a year now. And really with the sort of intent and purpose to try to spark entrepreneurial activity and to try to bring the community together and sort of share resources in an attempt to strengthen the economic infrastructure in the region. And so we do that in a variety of ways. So as I said, we've started this initiative about 7 years ago in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And we have created a very large co-working space downtown. And some of the repercussions of that type of community activity have been astronomical in relation to how we have been able to sort of redirect the economic industrial initiatives in the region. So speaking specifically about Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, historically it was a community, actually not that much larger than Utica, New York, probably about 60 some odd thousand, just as cold. And it was an economic infrastructure that was particularly known historically for mining and logging. excuse me, and as a result of some of our educational initiatives and our community grassroots economic initiatives, we've really kind of transformed that economic infrastructure to be a small to medium-sized city now known for AI and robotics. And so we aim to sort of, change people's thinking, change people's mindsets about the cities that we go into. And again, we like to focus those efforts on small to medium-sized cities. We think that, there's the American dream is shattered right now. And it has been for a while. I think we saw sort of the Great Recession in 08, and we've seen, a lot of small to medium-sized cities really kind of take a hit economically as a result of some of those American industries and the economy sort of taking a bit of a hit. And we think that, if we can connect resources, if we can collaborate in a community at a very grassroots level, and I'll talk a little bit about how we do that in a bit, then we can really start to empower the people in these small to medium-sized cities to pursue their dreams and to sort of channel energies and resources and take down and start and sort of promote economic growth at a very grassroots level. So we have a saying called "Wolves, not unicorns." And if you visit our website, there's this picture of a wolf. It looks like this digital wolf. It looks crazy. We have a saying called "Wolves, not unicorns" because a lot of people think that the unicorn is it's a mythical thing. It's not real. A lot of individuals think that they're going to create an application or something like that overnight. They're going to sell it and they're going to become a billionaire. Well, we know that that's just simply not true. That's not the case. And so we like to say wolves, not unicorns, because we really have a very sort of pack mentality in the Innovation Collective. And that's the type of mentality that we try to create in the now 6 cities that we're in all across the country. We do that by running a series of events in the communities that we go into. And these are recurring events. They happen at the same time in every single city, despite the time zones. And those events are opportunities. They're free events for starters, and those events are opportunities for people to really come together and start challenging themselves and the other peoples in the community to really start to pursue great things. A lot of times, small to medium-sized cities that are sort of struggling with their identities. The Industrial Revolution has left the Mohawk Valley, right? And so, we try to bring those people together to say, okay, these things are happening elsewhere in other countries or in other cities in the country. Why isn't that happening here in the Mohawk Valley? And what sort of resources do we need to promote economic growth in the region and to kind of help people, young entrepreneurs, innovators, to really start to pursue their dreams and some of their crazy ideas. Everybody's got a crazy idea in their head about the next company that they want to start. Which is actually how I met Innovation Collective when I was working for the Census Bureau. I was actually pitching an idea to them at Utica Coffee. And they were like, hey, that's pretty cool, but we also need a community manager. And I was like, okay, let's go. But everybody's got a crazy idea. And I think a lot of times people are scared to pursue those ideas because either they've heard the mantra of the Mohawk Valley that, quote unquote, that's not going to work here. How many times have people heard that, right? Or that'll never work. And that mindset is something that we are very interested in changing. And so we do that by getting people to come away from their television screens, to turn off Netflix, to put down YouTube, and to come out to a fireside chat, which we hold every single month. And if you guys have been to some, they're just an unbelievably great community event where we get to bring out entrepreneurs and innovators from the local community to kind of tell their personal and professional stories to the crowd, which sort of lets people know that, hey, there's really cool things going on in Utica and the Mohawk Valley. And when people start getting connected to other people that are also pursuing their dreams and are interested in challenging themselves, both professionally, emotionally, intellectually, we start to create a movement or a pack or a tribe of people that are really going to start taking down sort of, larger concepts and bigger companies because they start to work together. And so Innovation Collective, we're starting to create different ways of sort of indexing people's talents in the region. And that's a great way for us to kind of say, hey, as I meet all these different people in the Mohawk Valley and find out what they're working on, what their strengths are, I start to connect people as a result, as I start to, come in contact with more people and say, hey, have you met this person? Because they're kind of doing something similar. And the other cool part about my job is I get to sort of brag on everybody else's behalf, right? there seems to be this Central New York phenomena that nobody likes to ask for help and nobody likes to brag about themselves. Well, I'm going to do that for you. So tell me what you're good at. Tell me what you're working on, because we want to help you, connect you to resources so you can push those ideas forward and start companies right here in the Mohawk Valley. So going back to those fireside chats, so we hold a monthly fireside chat every month. And again, it's an opportunity for you all to come out, grab a free drink on us, meet some people that maybe you haven't met before, and hear sort of the professional and personal stories of individuals in the community who are pursuing great ideas and doing amazing things. That does a number of things that again, that connects people, that gives a sense of community that people want to be a part of. We're sort of creating a movement that's greater than yourself, so coming out and being part of something that's bigger, that's community driven, is a really essential component to connecting a community and defining a purpose in a movement. And so, if somebody's on this call right now listening, if you think you want to be the next fireside chat speaker, hit me up, taylor@innovationcollective.co. I'd love to hear your story and what you're working on. And then the other thing that we do is we hold coffee and concepts on the first and third Wednesday of every month at the Westwood building on Genesee Street, 167 Genesee. It's a new indoor location. We were previously holding it at the zoo outside to sort of meet some of those COVID related concerns. And Coffee and Concepts is a fantastic way for individuals to come out. We always start the session with an article or a news segment that's tech related, that's either national or global. Always begging the question, hey, this is happening elsewhere. Can this happen here? And sort of getting people to start becoming more aware of the types of innovative things that are happening around the world. And so, just yesterday we had Coffee and Concepts at 167 Genesee. And we were talking about blue-white robotics, which is going right into downtown Syracuse and bringing about 30 jobs into the region. It's an Israeli company that's landing right in Syracuse. And so, again, that's sort of always saying, hey, are you aware of this? Let's talk about it. Why didn't they land in Utica? And then the second half of Coffee and Concepts is sort of an opportunity for people to come to the group and they can say, hey, I've got this crazy idea in my head for a new company. Is there anybody in the group that can help me to share resources? I need a marketing person. I need somebody to help build their website. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have somebody in that circle that you've never met before that's going to support you and push your idea forward. So it's sort of a natural, connecting and resourceful opportunity for people to kind of come and hear the perspectives of others and find out what people are working on. We always say, I've always said that the worst idea is the idea that you kept to yourself, right? It's really important. There's a lot of people that think like, hey, if I tell somebody my idea, somebody's going to steal it. If that happens, you've got a whole tribe of Innovation Collective people in the Mohawk Valley. They're going to hold you accountable. We are very interested in hearing what people are working on. We want to, again, bring those resources together, connect people to really help people start companies in the Mohawk Valley. Some of the other things that we've been doing, in Idaho, we worked with the University of Idaho and Apple. We brought in several hundred laptops and sort of helped individuals in the college sector learn to code and give them certifications. We're also working with Hernando County, Florida, where we've just started a new community in Brooksville, Florida. It's a small to medium-sized city, again, about half-hour northeast of Tampa. And we're going to be working with them to promote some Google IT certifications and also doing some of our in-house soft skills training. So those are a lot of things that we do. We have obviously an interest in helping people start companies, but we also have an interest in making sure that that the community is performing optimally, both whether it's your personal life, things that you're working on. So we have this great in-house program called Grade 8, where we go through these 8 different sectors of everybody's life, and we try to help people plan and organize so that they can be high functioning individuals in the community that are going to go on to start great companies. So I would say that's a little bit of a different dynamic in terms of maybe some of the other startup companies and that are trying to promote entrepreneurial growth, is that we definitely have this sort of grassroots personal drive and social impact along with it, because everybody's got things that they're working on. Everybody goes home to their personal life, and it's okay if there's things that in your personal life that are not working out as well as you want to. We want to help you with those as well, so that you can do great things locally here. And then I would just touch on this last thing, that one thing that we're also very interested in is connecting, again, people to the resources and the education and mentors that they need to start companies. And so in the different cities that we're in, we try to determine what that economic vertical is going to be, or that new R&D industrial economic perspective is going to be for that city. So we always kind of joke around that, could Tampa, Florida be the next hair town, right? Where literally all of the best hair care products are there, the best hairstylists. If you want to get the best haircut in the country, you're going to go to Tampa to get your haircut, because they are the R&D capital of hair care. And so we use that example because it's a little bit extreme, obviously. But we try to, again, get the input and perspective of key stakeholders in the community. Historically, what those communities have done well economically in terms of the industries that were lucrative in the region. But we try to also promote new industrial and economic avenues. And again, the example that I started out with is a logging and a mining town in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, that's now known for AI and robotics. We were able to perform that change in mindset and thinking through hosting these events and getting people out of their homes and out of their living rooms, coming together and start acting like a community again. And so we honestly feel that that's a huge component to promoting the economic infrastructure and success of the region. And that's why we're in the Mohawk Valley. And we're not going anywhere. We're sticking around. You should come check out some of our events. A great place to start would be Coffee and Concepts, or coming out to the next Fireside Chat, which will be the last week of October. We're going to be interviewing Andrew Doherty of Covey. And also additionally, in relation to that, we're also hosting our first Think Big Festival. We've been hosting Think Big Festivals in Idaho for the last 7 years. And it's a 3-day event, October 22nd to the 24th. And we're going to be having, again, a 3-day event. We're going to have both in-person event for a select group of 50 people in the Utica area, where we're going to be bringing in individuals from the well-known rap group NWA. He was one of the founding members of the rap group out in Compton, California. He's going to be at the Thinkubator on the 22nd from 7 to 9:30 p.m. So if you're interested in attending that event in person, please reach out to me directly. Again, my email is taylor@innovationcollective.co. And we're going to be hearing from him. He's a really interesting person. I don't know if you guys know about that rap group, but Dr. Dre, Ice-T, I think there was a movie that came out a few years ago about them as well. And he actually left the entertainment industry to go and pursue a career in helping young individuals in the video game industry and with coding and things like that as well. So we like to bring out these really innovative people to kind of come out and tell their stories of success and failure, because that resonates with people, especially with the entrepreneurial community. And it's okay if, this guy, he was in the most historic rap group ever, and he left to go do something completely different. And that worked out for him. And so it's going to be a really interesting evening. Hearing from him, we've got the CEO of Tianjin Juilliard coming out as well to sort of talk about the music industry. So here we've got somebody from the hip hop industry and somebody from the classical music industry talking about the future of music and entertainment. And some other folks like the likes of Josh Childress, who played for the Nets, and is now helping communities in sort of more urban areas, creating co-working spaces to support the Black community and things like that all across the country. So it's going to be a action-packed couple of days. If you can attend in person, great. Reach out to me. It's a fairly cheap event. It's $15. You're going to be on screen with people from the NBA, the NFL, quantum. We've got some quantum experts coming out as well. So I think it's just a great opportunity. Again, it sort of preaches to the mantra of Innovation Collective, in the sense that we are going to bring unbelievable resources to quote unquote average people in average communities all across the country, with the hope and intent of empowering people and connecting them to resources so that they can move forward and pursue great things. And last but not least, we're going to be holding some pitch contests probably within the next 6 months. We will, when we determine what our economic vertical is going to be, we'll start to bring in venture capital in those to support those types of industries in Utica and the Mohawk Valley specifically. So it's a really great time to get involved with what we're doing. We've got some other announcements that we'll announce at Think Big Festival regarding some co-working space downtown as well. So again, we are very community driven. We are enthusiastic. We want to help you. We want to connect you to resources. And a great place to start is to come out and get involved in some of our events. A great place to find out about what we're doing is at the Utica Innovation Collective Utica Facebook group. And you can also check out our website, innovationcollective.co, and register for our email chain as well. I'm a millennial, so I probably write like an email a week. So I promise I will not flood your inbox with emails. But Jerry, I hope that provides enough information in regards to what we are aiming to achieve in the Mohawk Valley. And with your support, I think we can really achieve some great things. So I'll open it up to anybody for some questions.
Hey Taylor, that was just super. And I have one question in the queue, and folks, please use the Q&A to submit more if you'd like. We have a few minutes left. So can you please share some of the key success stories that the IC has generated in the Mohawk Valley area, and local entrepreneurs that you supported, how they've evolved over the last couple of years?
Great, yeah. So in Idaho, we've had some really interesting things occur. Where at Coffee and Concepts, we've had actually here's a funny story. So at Coffee and Concepts, again, it's that sort of meet and greet session where we talk about tech news, and then we talk about ideas that we're having and that we're working on. There was a woman in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, just a month ago, who came up to our VP of Communities, and Chris Cochran, who maybe some of you guys have met. And she was like, you know what, I made $30,000 off of investing off of companies that I've heard that have just come out of Coffee and Concepts. And we were like, what? You're just telling us this now? But there's been some amazing multi-million-dollar companies that have come out of Coffee and Concepts in Idaho, and companies that we have invested in as well. So that's certainly a dynamic that we're aiming to achieve in Utica. We started Coffee and Concepts digitally amidst a global pandemic. And then in the summertime, we did start to perform the outdoor Coffee and Concepts at the Utica Zoo, which was fantastic. And if you guys have seen, there was a huge spread on the front page of the Observer Dispatch about Coffee and Concepts and the intent and purpose of Innovation Collective in the region. So I would say it's a bit early on in terms of the intent of the meeting, the types of results that we'd like to see. But we have seen, I've seen probably about between 50 and 60 companies pitched to me, both individually through individual meetings and through Coffee and Concepts. So I challenge any of and all of you to come out to Coffee and Concepts with your idea. We've got a community of people that we're creating. We want to help support your initiatives and your ideas. So to answer your question, there's been a lot of really strange coincidences that have occurred as a result of Innovation Collective and some of the meetings, either at the Fireside Chat or at Coffee and Concepts. And we have linked remarkable resources together in the community to promote ideas and to push ideas forward. So whether that's somebody coming to Coffee and Concepts with an idea and they want to create a website, when they're sitting across the table from somebody who's been doing marketing in the region for 30 years and who've never met before. So those are the types of things that we're seeing right now at this moment. And I'm hoping that we're going to start to see like the next profitable, unbelievable company to come out of just sort of a think tank session like Coffee and Concepts.
Okay, great, thanks. Let's see. Does Taylor see any emerging themes or collaborations coming along in Utica? Uncanny Valley for video, film, or gaming, Silicon Carbide Valley?
Yes, I think Utica and the Mohawk Valley has a very strong foundational infrastructure to promote entertainment industries, sports entertainment, entertainment, arts and culture. Those types of industries, I think, have a pretty strong foothold in the region already. So you've got Munson Williams Proctor Institute, you've got the Stanley Theater, you've got the Odd / Nexus Center that's being built, and then of course, some of the other industries that I think that I would like to learn more about would be sort of more out your way, Jerry, which is so more with the Griffiss Institute, some of the things going on at AFRL. If there are people on this call right now or people who will see this later, I really would like to learn more about some of the cybersecurity, some of the AI work that's going on out in the region.
Great. Thank you very much. So just a couple minutes left. Let me fire one more question off. Network building, right, is kind of key to what you're all about. I'm an old curmudgeon. I'm an email guy, right, and the web and face-to-face meetings. Of course, COVID has certainly thrown a wrench in our traditional ways of doing business. And you're heavily vested in social media, right? The younger groups.
Yeah.
So how do you find the trying to bridge that that gap between a group, maybe in my age with business experience or experience you want to tap into that's more the email face-to-face meeting versus younger entrepreneurial folks coming up that are heavily into the social media channels?
Yeah. I will say the Innovation Collective is very interesting. So the communities that we built in Idaho and now in 6 different cities across the country, it is the most diverse group of people I've ever seen. We've got people from all different age demographics coming out to Coffee and Concepts, to the Fireside Chats, to the Think Big festivals at the end of the month. And it's really kind of a neat thing to see because I think everybody has something to learn from each other. And one of the mantras that we like to sort of promote is that, everybody's really truly an expert in something. So, if you're a senior citizen that you just retired, you've got something that you can teach to some of the younger individuals that are coming through Innovation Collective and who are trying to pursue ideas in the region. You guys have a historical set of knowledge about things that work and things that don't. And when you come into contact with individuals that are maybe of the younger demographic, they might challenge you to think differently as well about things that are possible. So I think obviously the Utica Facebook Innovation Collective Utica Facebook group is sort of like the direct line in terms of the types of discussion that's going on there. And again, we've seen people of all different age demographics participate in those types of discussions. Most of those discussions are facilitated or prompted by me. But that's also, we keep that as a closed private network as well, because we try to keep sort of the soliciting out. But it's really supposed to act as a resource for people to say, hey, I'm working on this really cool thing. Who can help me take this idea from point A to point B? And you've got roughly 1,000 people in that group, and it's growing, who are just on it. I mean, they're just on Facebook all the time, and they're responding, and they're having discussions with people. So I think obviously, the email is a great way to sort of hear. That's kind of more like the storytelling, and aware of the events that are coming up. I would say the Facebook group is sort of more of an active, in the moment discussion about things that people are working on and resources that people need to push ideas forward, if that makes sense.
It does. And Taylor, so it's on the hour. I think it's time for me to wrap this up. And I want to thank you very much for spending time with us this morning. I have a couple of closing remarks. And if you don't mind, I want to share another screen with folks. Thanks to everybody who attended this morning. This is the first in a series of topics we plan to present over the coming months, and we'd be interested in feedback from our audience on what type of topics they would like us to present. Regional business, science and technology community, it's pretty much a wide open for topics to consider. Please don't hesitate to send me feedback or Taylor feedback. I mean, we'll share anything we get on this. I'm particularly interested to hear about what you liked, what you didn't like. Is this a good time of day, a bad time of day? This too long, too short? Any comments that you care to give us would be great. Those who registered, I will send you these links that you're viewing on this screen for reference. I encourage you to look up the Innovation Collective, the Griffiss Institute, and Innovare, and follow these organizations on social media. And I have personally attended a couple of the fireside chats, and they are just really interesting events, some great speakers. So please consider those. And I guess with that, I'm going to call it a wrap, and we'll end today's session.
Thank you, Jerry. Thanks everybody for attending, and I hope to meet you soon.